Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending the conference today. My name is Jonah Kowall with Logs.io, and I'm looking forward to attending the conference myself. I'm here to talk a little bit today about DevSecops and some observations that I've had through the years and going into the future. So a little bit about myself and my background. I've been working in IT for my entire career, and I started out as a practitioner, like many of you, working with startups and large enterprises. I specialized both in the security field and in operations and development. Did a lot of work in the monitoring space over the years and actually joined Gartner as a research VP covering the area. And after that, worked for a few vendors, and I've most recently joined Logs.io, and I'm happy to talk to you about some of the things that I've seen. Really, the business problem that most of us are facing is that we really have to make decisions quickly as an organization, and we need to adapt in this digital business world, which means we have to understand what's happening with our software and make decisions quickly. So measurement is obviously a key area of this, but the way that we evolved our teams to working in this way is really something that happened over history. But if we rewind and we look at some of the initial creators of the DevOps movement, we actually begin to see some pretty interesting things. So actually, a couple of the folks that started seeing this trend, Patrick Dubois and Chris Boudiart, are both based in Belgium, and I think Patrick may be speaking at this conference as well. And they both were seeing the same type of trends in their startups and in their consulting company, and actually created the first DevOps days. Fast forward a decade later, and there were 80 events globally. Similarly, around the same time, Gene Kim, who founded Tripwire, a security company, moved to doing more DevOps research. But for some reason, we kind of forgot about the security roots here. Recently, Patrick has joined a security company, and he's talking a lot about this convergence between DevOps and security. And I believe that there's a lot more to come. And what we've seen is the traditional IT organization, and you can see an example of this on the left, has really had to evolve into a different type of organization, where you have lots of these small application and product DevOps teams relying on a platform. But we've still seen security as a separate team from the rest of this change. And I don't really think it's particularly effective. One of the things that's causing this to change slowly is the fact that everyone is moving to the cloud. Most organizations are trying to get out of their data centers. They're investing in SaaS, they're investing in platform services, some data from Gartner on this change that they predict, and the market data behind it. So we think that this trend is going to continue occurring, and the DevOps teams are becoming the owner of this cloud infrastructure. So security can't exist in a silo anymore. It really needs to be part of the development pipeline. It needs to be part of the way that software is written and code is written. And things like SIM that used to exist in a separate silo now actually have to be part of what the DevOps team thinks about. So this needs to be embedded. It needs to be a lot more automated. And these changes are things that are slowly starting to happen from what we see in our business. So one of the examples, and I like this slide, this particular image that sort of explains the problem. What you can see here is that all of the developers are essentially writing and committing code. And as that code goes through this pipeline, whether it's driven by Jenkins or Circle CI or things like Harness, there's a ton of automation on the bottom here that is also occurring from the security perspective. So doing static analysis, dynamic analysis of the code. During the build process, there's container scanning, which is going into your repo. And then as these containers are deployed into production, we also have container security tools, runtime application and security products, But ultimately, the security team is sitting down here, sort of out of the way of what's happening. And they're using the SIM product to look at logs from the infrastructure and the application to understand the threat. It's something that's happening separately from the way that these application teams are managing the application. And it's largely a problem because the security team is really small. So while we may have 1,000 developers writing code and managing production systems, we probably only have about 5 to 10 people in the security team handling all of the incidents from that perspective. So it doesn't scale and it doesn't really work today. And security is something that needs to be improved throughout this entire life cycle. And the other challenge that SIM has as a solution is that it was largely on premises, collecting infrastructure and log data. And so scaling this out became a problem. Our infrastructures have exploded, and at the same time, SIM can't handle this. So folks started looking towards cloud SIM, which is basically taking these solutions and putting them into the cloud. This allows them to collect cloud-native data sources. It made them more scalable and approachable. And that's the reason why this was really created. But the security team is still a separate buyer. They expect separate terminology. So these cloud SIMs aren't really meant to bring the teams together. Instead, they're really designed for the security buyer. And one of the things that we also see is that these DevSecops teams, and we have a few in our customer base that are looking at this, they're generalists. They're not security specialists. They want a simplified view. They have a much more simple set of integrations and needs. And most of them are developers or DevOps people, and they want different terminology. So we really believe that vendors need to support the future path that this is going in. And it's something that you should ask yourself, whether you're looking at converging or bringing these teams together, and whether your SIM or your SIM strategy will support that. And of course, I got to give a really quick plug to Logs.io, the company that I'm working for as the CTO and guiding our product strategy and vision. We really build this highly scalable platform that's built on a unified data store with Elasticsearch as our main database. And we present the best of breed open source tools on top of that. So our platform unifies these things and gives you the ability to use Kibana to analyze logs and unstructured data, Grafana to analyze time series data, and Jaeger for tracing. We also offer products on top of these. So we have the infrastructure monitoring tools, of course, and views, mostly from Grafana, log analytics from Kibana, and then our APM and tracing comes through Jaeger, and our Cloud SIM is also built on top of Kibana. And really, we built this highly scalable data store to handle these different types of data and bring it together. We've built a lot of AI and machine learning on top to make your team more efficient. And we've passed all of the security certifications required. We also run on multiple clouds, on AWS in many different regions, as well as Azure across multiple regions. So if you're looking to embrace open source and use some of these technologies along with with having a managed service that scales and handles your needs, definitely check us out. And having that security component be able to take advantage of the same data makes a lot of sense as your teams evolve and your needs change. And so with that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your conference. Thank you for your time, and everyone stay safe, and hopefully we can all meet together in the not too distant future.